Want to shop Walmart Black Friday deals first? Walmart Plus members get early access to our hottest deals. Join now and get 50% off a 1-year annual membership. Shop Black Friday deals first with Walmart Plus. See terms at walmartplus.com.
Ampire.
Hey, babies. Hey, babies, hey, babies, hey, babies. Hey, babies, hey, babies, 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 babies. Happy Thanksgiving. And hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. Have you seen my Wizards play, Michael? Hi, everyone.
It was all over last night. My show gave out some gambling picks because the Wizards stink. Fade the Wizards. Keep fading the Wizards, baby. They're making you money. They're making you big money these days.
I saw somebody tweet, I don't remember who, but somebody tweeted something to the effect of, the court doesn't look as bad in person as it does on TV.
That's it.
I'm
That's our take.
surprised they did this again across the board. Those courts look, it's not just the Wizards one. The courts look ridiculous during this, whatever this in-season tournament that's just regular season games is. I'm lost in what the NBA's losing me a little bit here. I don't know what they're doing a little bit.
That's the NBA Cup to you, sir. That's what they're calling it.
What's that?
The funniest part is, I know you don't. I think I might have watched more Wizards this year than you have. The funny part with the NBA, with the NBA Cup, the point differential matters. So you missed it like a week ago. We didn't even have time to talk about it. The Wizards were like fouling at the end of one of their games when they were down by 10 because the point differential was gonna matter. I guess it was kind of hilarious. They were down by 10, fouling and trying to stop the game and score more, and I'm like, this is a joke. Like this is just a mess right now.
I'll give them that. No quit. You get that from me then. No quit.
Well, you have to act like you want the NBA Cup, Bram. Duh.
Didn't the Lakers put up didn't they put up a banner for that? And everyone got mad at them. They put up something for it. Right?
They put up a small banner that has room for a bunch of other years.
Okay.
So
all right. Well, yeah. Whatever. All right, let me get into the Commanders here a little bit. We're not going to have a show tomorrow, obviously, Thanksgiving. We'll have one on Friday. I'll have Kime on you for Friday. I'll have Kime on for Friday. Yikes. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. All right. Yeah. All right. I want to talk about a couple things real quick, and that's this. So I think there is some confusion going on about the old logo. As you know, the senator from Montana was working on behalf of one of his constituents, the Wetzel family. The Wetzel family created the old iconic Redskins logo. The Wetzel family, we don't know exactly what they wanted because it's never been clear exactly what they wanted. It is my guess that what they wanted was for the logo to be quote unquote unretired to the point where they could monetize it and it be used and probably for t-shirts, memorabilia, all sorts of old things. And it appears that has on some level happened, right? On some level, Senator Daines was holding up the bill to allow for the land at the RFK site to go through committee in what he said was to make this occur without an expressed outcome. He never said the name was coming back, but the insinuation was that the logo would in some form. I also thought cynically that the family just wanted it because it's valuable IP. So if the NFL isn't going to use it, well, then we would like to use it and sell merchandise, et cetera, et cetera. And the NFL's never going to do that because it is valuable. So we're at some kind of stalemate. And then it gets down to last week where it's either this bill is going through to the Senate floor or it's not. And Senator Daines relented and he allowed this to go through, but in doing so stated that the logo, that quote unquote conversations are going well between the NFL and the family to the point where it will never be, if I got this right, not being able to be used for old merchandise, which has been twisted over the last week into a lot of headlines and articles that I've seen from some on the right who always claim other people on fake news of saying the logo's coming back. And I don't think that's the case. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I just want to talk about this for a moment. I think this idea that what he did or what they were trying to do was greasing the wheels for it to come back may have been the outcome they were looking for, may not have been the outcome they were looking for, but I don't believe is the outcome they're going to get. So I don't think you're going to see this on the helmets again, and I don't think you're going to see it at midfield again, but I don't know that 100% with certainty. I've just seen a lot of headlines that are insinuating it, and I don't think they're accurate. That's all.
I mean, Josh Harris has come out and said it's not coming back. Now,
that's right.
Could he change that? Of course, he owns the freaking team. He could do what he wants.
The NFL has to okay this one too. This is not just go back to something that doesn't come with a lot of controversy.
Of course. I've landed on how we've kind of just discussed this last year of discourse with the logo and everything that, you sign on to a million bootleg shops on the internet these days that you can get a shirt for $20. People are buying that stuff. There's some kind of line here where if you're the NFL and you're the team, does it just benefit you to start putting that logo on merchandise? And does a portion of that go to some of the Native American causes? Like I know they were talking about the Disappearing Women and Children charity, whichever one that was. Excuse me, I don't remember which one it is. But, do you have it go to a bigger and better cause and kind of satisfy the people that want to see that logo? I'll hear you out on that one. And I've told you this before. You can go into the shop at Northwest Stadium and they sell throwback jerseys. They sell Joe Theismann jerseys and Darryl Green stuff and, some other old school jerseys. I think the other part of this too was what you said as well. I think they wanted it so they don't censor this thing anymore. I actually haven't understood that, in its entirety, actually, because that's a part of the history here. No one was really offended at the name back then. They won Super Bowls in that jersey. Like, I think it's actually really dumb when they censor the helmet logo. It's not like it's Riggo throwing up, double birds or something over here. Like, I'm with it on that. I think this is the road to open up, to put it back on merchandise because it's so readily available elsewhere. Seeing it on the field, though, we're years and years away from that if it happens. And if it does happen, I think it's going to be a one game a year throwback type deal. It is not going to ever be the full time. That's at most. At most, it's going to be that.
That's what I think too. I don't think we're going back to it. I don't think that's happening. But I will say this, also while these talks were going on in the summer, and it felt very grandstandy, that's all it really was. And I didn't really understand what the senator was getting out of this or why he felt it was necessary to do this. Now that Trump has won, part of their agenda is going to be to unwind all this, what they describe as woke stuff.
Yeah.
And this falls into that category. So, and that's why I'm at this point saying I wouldn't go, it's 100% that it's not happening, because I think symbolically that the new administration that's coming in and the quote unquote mandate that they have, there are some certain changes they want to make. And these are the types of things culturally that they want to unwind. Now, whether that's going to be successful, I don't particularly know. And now that the bill has gotten to the Senate, I wonder how it's going to be discussed on the Senate floor. And will this part or aspect of it come up that, yeah, we'll push this through to the White House. However, we want to have some assurances about the logo. And I don't know that it will go that far because the Senate, as of this next month and a half, is controlled by the Democrats. Next year, it won't be. The issue is this whole process starts over again if they don't pass it now and the White House doesn't pass it. So I don't know where this is going to go. And it's the only part that I'm holding out of. I don't think it's 100% done. And it's because I know that they want to unwind a lot of the woke stuff. And so I don't know. I again, highly doubt it that it's going back on the helmets or that it's going back on the field. Will you see merchandise in the team store with it? Yeah, I could see that. Could old photos and old posters and old things celebrating Super Bowl teams, 100%. the logo with stuff with the hogs, 100%. I could see that. But I don't think it's going back on the helmets. But, maybe I'll be wrong about it because the momentum is sliding a different way. I'm only bringing it up because I'm seeing a lot of headlines that are more than insinuating that's happening, and I don't think that's true.
No, I mean, here's the the gist of you seeing those headlines too. Those headlines blow up because people engage in it. Like, it's the one thing that is engage proof that people are always going to click and comment on and say, thank God, or screw that. There's always an extreme reaction one way or the other with it. And that's why it's also blowing up. And, frankly, how this works too. No one cares if it's real or not. They just want people to engage with it. So I've always felt that's what a lot of it is. And look, at the end of the day, this team is a private entity. Like, you can't force them to do anything.
Correct.
If you want to say, like, you have to be a certain name to be at the stadium, that opens up a whole other can of worms that I don't think anyone's really ready for. So, like, kind of good luck with that. And it's also a shade of, hey, if you do that, they can just go to Maryland or Virginia and say they don't care what the name is. Like, it's bad negotiating if you're going to force them to try to do this, is what I'm getting at as well.
Yeah, I think it's going to be semi-status quo, and you will see this displayed in certain ways. But I don't know. And it is heading down a path of the doors trying to get cracked open to put it back on the helmet. I just don't think it's going to be. And I really don't think the name's coming back. I mean, like, that I am like 110% sure of is not coming back. Will they change the name again down the road? It's down the road. Like, it's not happening anytime soon. Anyway, all right, so there's all that. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. All right, let's see. So Chris Rodriguez is re-signed. Austin Eckler, I don't have an update on yet, but after what I saw last week, I have a very hard time seeing him play this weekend. Brian Robinson is saying that he's feeling better, but he has an ankle sprain. We'll see. I've kind of felt like this team needs to run the ball a lot to be successful on offense. And everybody who's talking about Cliff Kingsbury and decrying that it's all going to go bust, or maybe it already has, or it's heading that way. This is not a good sign to turn that around. So I'm glad Chris is back because they had no choice with him when they released him because there were too many up and down movements from the practice squad. Now he has to come back to the main roster, but clearly they need him. So I'm hoping they survive somehow this game because offensively, I have a hard time buying that it's flipping back around like everybody wants it to.
Not only that, the Tennessee defensive stats are ridiculous. I don't know if you've looked into them yet. They're like number 2, I think, in total yards. They're like top 5 in rush defense, top 5 in pass defense. It's I guess what I'm gathering is it's their offense. No shock with Will Levis that they put them in really bad positions all the time because it's the
turnovers.
It's the only thing I can look at because I saw their defensive stats. They're only giving up like 100 yards a game, something like that. It's only like 280, 300 yards a game total for them. Like, really good defensively. Color me worried if you don't have either of your top running backs against this defense. They might be in for another slobber knocker type game for 3 quarters and hope it doesn't blow up in the 4th quarter again. Like, the formula looks awful right now for what could happen on Sunday.
This is on the defense to get turnovers because that's Tennessee is losing because they turn the ball over. So it's going to be on the defense this week. They say ball is life. Get the ball. Yeah, get the ball. Like, that's what it's going to be. The other thing that happened, I honestly don't think Austin Seibert could walk onto the field next week and not probably hear a smattering of boos. So I think it's better for everybody, honestly, that like put him on IR, let the other kicker come back out there, and let's just move on for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, the other part of this is he only has to be on IR for 4 weeks. So technically, if it doesn't work out or you think that he was hiding an injury or whatever, you could go back to him. But I'm with you. Like, this had to happen. A second home game doesn't help. And that was about as fast as I've seen a fan base flip on a dude. And I get it. A couple missed extra points and field goal. I understand. Yeah, this was one where you probably had to make the change. I will argue the guy, did win NFC Special Teams Player of the Week 2. Like, the guy was pretty good right off of the bat.
This last one, though, is tough.
I know. Yeah.
So,
right.
Anyway, all right. Here's the other stuff going on. Jerry hints Mike McCarthy could stay. I don't think so. But stranger things have happened. He's digging ground on, well, one, I guess he doesn't want to say that change is coming because what purpose does that serve? And I agree with that. Secondarily, though, because he has stood his ground on some other things that seem odd throughout the past, I don't know, a couple of years, honestly, maybe he's not kidding. And if I'm like people who cover the Cowboys, I would take this mildly seriously, that if they are very competitive down the stretch with all the injuries they have, they don't think it's an assumption that they are going to make that change, because he doesn't BS about stuff like this. And he also doesn't like to be wrong. And he has stood his ground about a lot of things that look on the outside to be the wrong decisions. So I don't know. Maybe he's not kidding here.
I will play devil's.
We'll get Callow back in a second. I don't know what they should do, honestly. Like, I have a hard time trying to figure out what exactly they should do. Like, I'm not sure, like, what the right thing to do is. I think McCarthy's got a bad rap, honestly. Like, his record, so going into the game last week, he's third among active coaches in wins. Like, that's not an accident. And everyone sits there and thinks, well, he had prime Aaron Rodgers. Okay, he had a really good quarterback. A lot of guys have really good quarterbacks. Like, that's not his fault. The guy wins a lot. So, again, I'm not so sure that that's like kind of like the logo thing. I'm not so sure that that's fake news, honestly.
Also, I mean, let's be honest here. I'm not saying like Dallas has had a bad roster or anything. This year's roster was questionable. The guy got 3 seasons in a row of 12 wins. Like,
yes,
I don't care who you are. That's really freaking hard in today's NFL. Like, I would almost argue damn near impossible in the modern NFL to have a team that good for that long without a guy named Tom Brady or whatever. Right.
Right.
And so
we're on a team where everybody complains about the quarterback and says he's not good enough.
Exactly. And so, like, I'll take that for what it is. The guy's at least a good head coach. Is he a great head coach? I don't know. But at the same time, I'm not going to take that away from him. You know, like, we're starting to see some pushback with Sirianni now, too, where people are going, look at that guy's record. Like, it can't just all be the roster. And I think there's a little bit of truth to that. But, you know, when he says there's a possibility to extend him, remember Jerry also likes control. Like, he doesn't want to probably have the bold head coach. This is where you and I were arguing about Dion a little bit. Does he want a guy like that? I don't think he does, actually, because I think Jerry likes being the star. And a guy like
then he's really turning it all over. And that's the part of this that, like, long term, if you're a Cowboys fan, I think you're wishing that he goes, all right, I'm just going to go sit in the box and I'm not going to do anything else. And I'll do interviews and I'll do all the branding stuff, all the stuff that they're still really great at. But, like, I'll leave the team up to the team. But see, I don't think that's going to happen. Like, I don't think it's fun for him, or he's willing to put his ego aside to do that. So that's why I think you're stuck with him this way in perpetuity until he just doesn't feel like doing it anymore. And that could be a long time. No,
absolutely. And also look at who McCarthy is and compare him to Jason Garrett. Like, those were both kind of the same head coaches. They were not rah-rah type head coaches. They were no nonsense, serious head coaches. But you can't tell me a press conference that you remember from either one of those guys, from either one of their tenures. Right. So, like, I think he likes a steady head coach that's not crazy flashy or anything like that. Who was it? Parcells before Garrett? Am I getting that bridge correct there? Like, I don't remember who it was before Garrett. I think
there was someone in between.
That's what I think too, but I can't remember who it was. But that tells you everything you need to know right there. Like, he likes a steady head coach, and I would say, don't discount it, especially a guy that won 3 12-win seasons, and they lost their quarterback this year. Like, that's an excuse. That's a legitimate excuse for any head coach.
He stuck with Garrett probably 3 seasons longer than anybody wanted him to.
Exactly. Right. Exactly.
So we'll see. All right. Aaron Rodgers goes on McAfee, threatens to return to New York, says all the reporting about him, about either wanting to play or not wanting to play, all not true. None of it. He's not sure anymore, even though a month ago he said he was coming back to play. Now he says he's not sure. He has to see how his body feels. And New York's the quote unquote first option if they want him to return. And then he'll see what all the other options are on the table. I thought for a while there, the options in the list would be long. I don't think it will be. I think there'll be a place for him to go for sure. Like somebody will sell themselves into the idea of it was just a bad situation and he had to get over the Achilles and it was just a mess and he's got 1 or 2 good years in him. Let's just give it a shot. And then he's going to have to decide if going to that desperate team, wherever that may be, is actually what he wants to do. And he'll draw that out because he's a drama queen. And he'll go somewhere and he'll think about it for, 8 months. And then he'll come out of the yurt and tell everybody what he wants to do because he's in control of his destiny, which I no longer think is the case. Gig's up. Like it's up. It will be down to a couple of select places that might want him and only on their terms and not on his. So my gut tells me he's retiring after this year. That's what I think. I don't think he's just going to go anywhere to play for anybody. So I think he's going to retire unless someone of prom shocks me. San Francisco, something like that. It says they want him.
I have 2 teams that I have on the list for your boy to go to. One is Vegas. Vegas is going to need a quarterback. Do they draft one? I don't know. It would be hilarious because they just traded Devontae Adams to the Jets, which would just be the funniest thing in the world.
Does he want to play for the team owned by Tom Brady? Does he want that?
So that's what I don't know. Like that could help or hurt. I don't know what the case is there. Like I could see Brady trying to buddy up to him or something like that. Okay. Plus it's Vegas. Like apparently Vegas is his franchise people want to go to, and I don't understand why. But anyways, then there's 2.
Because they want to live there. That's all. Because they want to live there. That's it.
Sure. He could go on a lot of wellness retreats in the desert if that's the case. Here's number 2, and he has the opportunity to do like one of the funniest things in the world. He could go across to the other facility. The Giants need a quarterback next year, stud wide receiver. If Dayball is holding on, I don't know. Like they seem to be the type of franchise that would roll the dice on him at this point in time. Would it happen? I don't think so. But it's only going to be bad franchises that are in on this guy right now.
He likes the troll job. That's a pretty good troll job.
Thank you. Like, that's what I'm thinking here, too. Like, he's going to go, oh, it didn't work with you. I'm going to go across, the turnpike and go to that facility instead. That just seems very Aaron Rodgers to me, and I can't rule it out because they also there's like enough there. Like, they're going to need a running back in New York. But, like, with Neighbors and adding another wide receiver there, like, I could see them talk themselves into it and he talking himself into going there. So I'm just saying, Jets, Giants, Aaron Rodgers could be a thing over the next year. I would love it.
Then it would be an even better Hard Knocks. Let's do it. Let's have Giants Hard Knocks with Aaron Rodgers. He liked Hard Knocks. Remember how much a part of it he was?
Right, exactly.
He'd follow you around wherever you go in the off season. We all want to know what you're doing anyway.
That's right.
And then
exactly.
Who are they signing? Alan Lazard, Randall Cobb. Who else is he like? John Kuhn. Who else is he like? All his buddies have to go to New York. It's a good troll job.
Right.
But that's all it really is.
It's a troll job, but at the same time, like, will the Giants be bad enough to get one of those top quarterbacks? I don't know because there's so many 2-win teams in the league right now. Like, I don't know how these standings are going to shake out. Somebody's going to want him because they're not going to be able to get their guy at the top. And I'm looking at them and I'm looking at the Raiders as the 2 teams that will talk themselves into wanting to have him.
The other part of this too is, and I'm glad this is over soon. This is it for him on McAfee because the quotes don't matter anymore. All the outlandish things he said don't matter anymore because he's not that guy on the field.
Yeah. Right.
So until he gets retired, and when he retires, he could then be relevant again if he wants to talk about football a little bit at least. But it's neutered all of that, which I do like.
Until he's named leader of the Department of Sports, here in D.C.
It's possible. All right, let me take a quick break. Brave Watch the Show, ESPN 630, the Sports Capital.
This year, Santa's bringing the power of Energizer into his workshop.
Whoa, the Energizer Bunny's got so much power.
Wait, he's powered up all the toys. I think that means we're done for the year.
I love this bunny.
He's the hardest working helper the North Pole has ever seen. And he wants all your gifts to have the power of the #1 longest lasting AA battery. So this holiday season, stock up on Santa's and the elves' favorite battery, Energizer Ultimate Lithium.
At Sierra, discover top workout gear at incredible prices, which might lead to another discovery. Your headphones haven't been connected this whole time. Awkward. Discover top brands at unexpectedly low prices. Sierra, let's get moving.
This episode is brought to you by Allstate. Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first, like you know to check the date of the big game first before you accidentally buy tickets on your 20th wedding anniversary and have to spend the next 20 years of your marriage making up for it. Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Savings vary. Terms apply. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Northbrook, Illinois.
All right, welcome back. Where's Dimes going to go this Thanksgiving? He was supposed to be playing tomorrow against ye old Cowboys. But no, that's not what the script said for this year in the NFL. Where's he going to go? I liked him on the Ravens as a backup. However, there is no path to him starting there. So does he want to go to a contender where he could start next year? Is that what he's thinking? I don't know. I wonder who wants him, because I actually, unlike the Rodgers discussion, I actually think you'd be surprised how many teams would want to take a look at him.
I told you this. He's a backup in this league. I don't think he's, a definitive starter, but I think he's a definite backup. And I made the comparison to Tannehill, right? You put him in the right offense, the right system, I think he'll be okay. I'm not going to say he's going to light the world up. I like the Vikings rumors, to be completely honest. I think I said this when he got cut. He needs to go to one of the Wonderkins offensive systems to try to clean things up. So that is KOC, LaFleur, your boy down in Miami, McVay, one of those types. And if Minnesota is interested, I would definitely say that's a good spot for him, especially because you don't know the status of Darnold next year. JJ McCarthy is probably the guy, but you don't know how that's going to play out. I think Minnesota is the one to go for this one, mainly because it gives him a pathway to playing.
Also, what would be amazing there too is if Minnesota were to win the Super Bowl, Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones could go back to New York and celebrate a Super Bowl championship together.
Hey, you like seeing ghosts? How about these ghosts? That's what that turns into. That's what that
you
turns
think
into.
Rodgers is on a troll job mission? Jones and Darnold showing off a Super Bowl trophy to New York as teammates? Oh, wow.
Jones has to bring the Lombardi to that random bar in Hoboken. Remember that when he was partying with Eli? That's what he needs to do. That's where he needs to bring that.
That's right. He will go visit Aaron Rodgers in Peru and show it to him. He will go to the random bar in Hoboken. He'll show up at Woody Johnson's house. It'll be great. The whole thing will just be great. Let's see. Tomorrow, possibly no turkey for cutlets. He's hurt. So we might get Cooper Rush is banged up too. We might get Drew Lock versus Trey Lance on Thanksgiving.
This is shaping up to be one of the worst Thanksgiving matchups we've ever had. I think
it already is, no matter who plays quarterback. But now, Lock, who's pissed because they lied to him, versus Lance, who can't beat out Cooper Rush.
This is bad. And if it's like, to our last subject, if only you had a professional quarterback sitting on the bench here, you guys might be okay, but you cut him. So, yeah, this looks bad, like really bad.
Yeah, so I'm not going to make a pick here because I don't think there is one to be made. Like, this is the sloppy seconds of Thanksgiving. Like, this is the leftovers you don't want to take home. This is the turkey that was overcooked, but you were too nice to say anything to your family about it. But you don't want to take anything home because it's really bad. So, and there's not enough gravy to fix it. This is terrible. That's what this is. Terrible. And don't care who wins. How about that one? First time ever. We've got an NFC East game on Thanksgiving, and the outcome doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Not only doesn't matter, it's hard to pick because the Cowboys not only have lost every game at home this year, they've been god awful at every game at home. They haven't just been bad. They've been one of the worst home teams in the league, if not the worst home team in the league at this point. So you can't even comfortably be like, oh, the Cowboys have a little bit more there at home. No, it means nothing in this matchup.
Yeah, if I'm partial to anything, it's seeing them lose at home because I think that's funny. And I do want Malik Neighbors to jump in the Salvation Army tub. But outside of that, I don't care who wins. And I just can't believe we're here, that this game has no meaning whatsoever. And the players that are playing in it, if the Giants lose, Malik Neighbors doing an interview on Thanksgiving asking for his coach to be fired would be amazing. Be amazing.
We are definitely in a win-win scenario with whatever the post-game sound is going to be like. Here's the other one that I actually do kind of like. Did you see the get-in price for this yesterday? I haven't even looked today. It's probably worse today. Did you see the get-in price for the game?
No.
You can get in to this game, the Thanksgiving Cowboys game, for $25. That was yesterday. That was yesterday, too. So, today, I'm sure it's probably worse. And here's something that, as you talked about last week about the Cowboys doing the bench thing and blowing us out, on bad years. If Jerry has a stadium that's a little empty tomorrow, I'm not going to be mad about it either. I want to see that visual of the league of your team has sucked so much this year that no one's showing up to your game. I kind of like that if that ends up being the case tomorrow.
Who's doing halftime tomorrow? Did you catch that one? Because last year we were down there. I got to see Dolly live. That was amazing when I saw Dolly perform live last year.
I don't know who halftime is. The only halftime show that I know is the Christmas Day game Houston is hosting is Beyonce. That's the only one that I have circled. Yeah. Which I'm
performing at that?
Yeah. Okay. Right.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So, that's the only one I've circled. I don't remember who tomorrow's is because usually there's both, right? Usually the Lions and the Cowboys have a halftime performance. I don't remember who either one is.
Let's see. Speaking of, Caleb has awakened. He's been very good last couple weeks since they changed this offensive coordinator. And I'll say the same thing I said Sunday. If they have any life in them, and it seems like they do, I bet this game is relatively close. I can't pick them because the Lions are basically the best team in the NFL this year. And so I think they'll continue to be the best team in the NFL. And I think they'll win. And I have a hard time seeing a letdown from them. But they only have one loss. They're going to lose again. Nobody goes 16-1. They're going to lose again. And I don't know. This might be the nice little present for the Bears. To see this guy win here, I think would make them feel a lot better about literally everything if he can pull that off.
Let's see. Lost on a Hail Mary, lost on a blocked field goal, lost in overtime. And now Dan Campbell is going to play. You're telling me that there's a chance that they're going to wake up and beat that team on Thanksgiving? Zero shot, pal. No way. The Lions are going to come and they're going to kill them, I think, on Thursday. I don't think I don't think it's going to be 50 points. But give me that Colts score again, 24-6. Something like that where
we're at the point in the season, though. The Chiefs barely beat Carolina. Cleveland beat Pittsburgh on a short turnaround. I don't know. I will say that I've been saying this from the get-go, and this is how long an NFL season is. It wasn't that long ago that people were wondering if Caleb's a bust. And then a month later, they're going, oh, he actually is going to be really good. We just got to give him some time. I'll stick with how I felt about it. I know he's going to be good. How good? I don't know. But I know he's going to be good. And I'm glad to see that his rookie season's turning a little bit here. I'm glad he was bad when he played us. And now he's turning because that game could be very different. It's not who you play. It's when you play them. We played Chicago late this year. I wouldn't like our chances because I think Caleb's turned a corner.
No, I 100% agree. I just think the Lions are too much of a machine here. The funniest part, by the way, is there are Chicago fans now panicking because if you remember, Eberflus was going to get fired last year, and then he won like 5 of 6 down the stretch. Like, remember they won a bunch of games. Now all the Bears fans are like, we cannot have Eberflus play himself into another year on the job here. And I'm laughing at them because that's just the life they live these days. And so I will say there's a little bit of a funny troll job that could happen if he plays himself into the job for another year.
Yeah, I do like that Campbell also trolls everybody. So I'm sure they have a couple things planned.
And remember, they lost last year on Thanksgiving. They lost to the Packers. Like, I don't think he like kind of forgets that. Like, I think he wants to make sure, like, let's not do this 2 years in a row. And by the way, that crowd's going to be crazy. It was crazy last year, honestly. Yeah. So that's where I don't think they're going to lose 2 in a row is basically where I'm getting at.
You and I both believe the Finns are back and they get a prove it game tomorrow where they have to go to Lambeau. So that's a rough turnaround to go up there to play on Thanksgiving at night. I'm sure it's not going to be warm. It's a quick turnaround. And, you know, as much as I've appreciated their turnaround, if we're going to be fair, because this is what the Commanders got for weeks, who did they beat? They beat New England twice. They beat the Raiders. They beat the Jaguars in week 1 before we knew anything and barely beat them. And they beat the Rams, which I would call that's a pretty good win because they won on the road. But the Rams, as we've learned this year, are a 500 team. So if you're going to kill teams like Washington for having the record they have based on who they beat, well, then Miami also needs to prove it because they haven't beaten anybody yet. And this would be beating somebody for sure.
It's the same thing, too, with Green Bay. Like, they haven't beaten all these amazing teams either. This is actually a prove-it game for me for both of them. Edge Green Bay because it's there. But, I don't know, you and I talk about that Dolphins offense all the time. They could explode for 30 to 40 points, and I don't think anyone would be shocked on it. And same thing, it's a short week. We don't know how these games end up shaking out. If it's a close game, I could see the Dolphins pulling one out at the end again. Not to mention, too, I look at that Dolphins defense. That's been the reason why they've been so good as of late. I don't know. I give the Dolphins more of a puncher's chance than I think a lot of other people do on Thursday.
Yeah, I like Green Bay here. However, the Miami offense has woken up, and it looks like what I thought it was going to look like at the beginning of the season. Better late than never, but it is a prove-it game because while they're surging and playing a lot better and in line to make a run for a playoff berth and look around the AFC, there's not a lot around them that would get in their way from getting the 7 or the 6 seed. They still got to beat somebody, and they haven't done it yet. So we'll see. Let's see. I told you people. Shocker. Juan Soto is not coming back here. Why? Because the ownership isn't giving him whatever the number is. And considering it is now public that 5 teams that do offer contracts like that have offered a contract to him, there's no chance that he's coming back here. If he was looking for a suitor, then maybe, but that's clearly not the case. And this ownership group is not in the business of giving anybody $600 million. So sorry, suckers who bought into this because Rizzo winked at him once in the summer that you thought, oh, he's coming back. It's going to turn into the greatest trade ever that we gave up on him. And now he's coming back here. That's not happening. You suckers. Of course it was never happening.
No one thought it was definitively happening over there, Guy. All I said
you
was
bought into it, though, and you know you did. You bought into this idea of he might come back here.
All I said was the chances weren't 0, pal. I knew the exact way this was going to shake
1%, maybe at most. I took the hard line on this from the get-go. They didn't want to pay him that, preemptively. I never thought they should have traded him because they had him under contract for so much longer. They didn't need to do that, but they did because everybody went sideways. And then everybody got this dumb fairy tale that in a couple of years, he would just come back here because, they fooled everybody. They got this whole new budding group of people for him, and now they get him to come back. Heroes welcome. You forgot the part that this ownership group doesn't want to pay anybody that. They don't care who it is.
No, of course. I said that with the caveat of will they spend on anybody, let alone Soto. I said that back in the get-go. By the way, no one said this was happening until they made googly eyes at each other when the Yankees were here. I want to say that. That was 2 ways, by the way. Soto didn't turn that down either. All I said was it didn't go to zero. The one thing that gives me the red flag on this whole situation is the Dodgers signed Blake Snell last night, and that's them going, we're good. We're going to spend $600 million on a bunch of other pieces. We don't need to have Soto. It tells me that he actually is about to get that number because the Dodgers are going, we're good. We don't need to spend that much on one player. And that's crazy for the Dodgers to say. Like,
to me, that signing was he's not going there.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
exactly.
They just went, okay, we'll just sign the best pitcher.
That's right. Yeah, for a third of the price. Like, great. Thanks, guys. Right. Like, thanks for that. So, yeah.
I mean, I think he's going to end up going back to the Yankees. So that's what I think.
It's either Yankees or the Mets. I think it's either one of those two. I don't think it's going to be anywhere else. I think he lives in New York. I think he likes playing in New York. I think it's going to be one of those two teams, and he likes being the face of either one of those franchises and making that much money. I mean, I don't think that's important to him, but he likes it. And I think he liked playing in pinstripes at the end of the day. Like, they really embraced him there, and he was really, really good. So, yeah, I think it's going to be one of the New York teams.
I didn't see the Orioles name on that list either, but, just
I will say this. I will say this, though. Off of the Snell signing, they did say the Orioles were in on Snell. So they were trying to sign an ace pitcher. They even said that the Corbin Burns negotiations. Correct. Yes. They even said the Corbin Burns stuff that the Orioles were still in on him as well. So at least hearing the Orioles going after an ace pitcher, I'm all right. Like, we'll take that victory at the end of the day. The one thing I hate is we haven't heard anything about the Nationals. And I said to you, if they're going to, revamp this team, they need one big veteran signing. They haven't done it. They're not in anybody's names. And once again, we haven't had time to talk about it. They non-tendered Kyle Finnegan last Friday. They non-tendered their closer instead of trading him at the deadline for anything. Which Rizzo can usually finagle somebody to give you somebody like Lane Thomas for John Lester or something like that. They let him walk for nothing. They're lucky that they did this on a Friday news dump before Cowboys Commanders, because honestly, it's baffling at that they even made that decision. And I don't understand what they're doing now. And now I'm just more pissed off in the offseason with them.
Let's see what they do. Maybe there's something coming, right? I don't want to preemptively say they're not doing anything.
No faith over here. No faith, because they've shown nothing.
I don't have
They've shown nothing. So
until we get to February, it's hard to know though, right? So I want to be careful here. However, this is a total, I told you so. This ownership group doesn't want to spend money. And now they actually have no excuse, because whatever big numbers were on their books, which wasn't bloating their salary cap or their salary purse entirely, but it was an excuse. Well, that's no longer there anymore. So if this was the offseason, go ahead, spend a little money, show me that you're committed to winning again, and they're not doing it. So this is going to, again, it's too early to do this, but in a few months that they go, well, this is our team. This is where people will start ramping up with, maybe you should sell it to Ted.
Well,
that's where that's going to start.
This is where it starts to blow up too. Baseball fans are, like, I would say, one of the more passionate fan bases in any sport. If you're not demonstrating that you want to win, good luck getting fans to go to the games. This is one of the first things baseball fans do when they don't realize that ownership wants to win. They stop going. Remember last year when you went to opening day in Boston and I told you, oh yeah, those fans, like, they're so mad at ownership, you'll be able to buy them. And you didn't believe me. And then you got really good seats for opening day at Fenway. This is what happens with baseball fans. If you don't demonstrate you win, they're the first, your most passionate fans are the first ones to go, I'm not buying into this one this year. So if the Nats want to play this game, have at it. But Nats Park's going to be half full the entire season if you don't spend a little bit of money here.
Yep. All right, be right back. Bram Wednesday Show, ESPN 630, the Sports Capital.
Blinds.com's Black Friday sales event is happening now with our best deals of the season. Let our design experts help you make the perfect selection for your home on your schedule. We can send free samples right to you and handle everything from measure to install. With over 25 million windows covered, Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. Save up to 50% site-wide, plus doorbusters, and a free professional measure at the Blinds.com Black Friday sales event now. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Behind the delivery trucks that keep your life stocked, thousands of employees at BP go to work every day. People bringing a new offshore production platform online. People making our refineries capable of more, like making renewable diesel from agricultural waste. People trading and shipping fuels to our customers. And people helping truckers fill up and get maintenance at our convenient locations. They're part of the more than 300,000 jobs BP supports across the country. Learn more at bp.com/investing in America.
Hey, it's Bill Simmons from the Bill Simmons Podcast here to tell you about Michelob Ultra Courtside. It's getting fans closer to the NBA with a chance to win prizes like courtside seats, a trip to All-Star Weekend, and much more. Check it out at MichelobUltra.com/courtside. Michelob Ultra Superior Access, Courtside 24-25 sweepstakes, no purchase necessary. Open to U.S. residents 21 and up. Begins on October 1st, 2024. Ends July 1st, 2025. Multiple entry periods. Visit MichelobUltra.com/courtside for free entry deadlines, and official rules. Message and data rates may apply. Void where prohibited.
All right, welcome back. A couple quick notes on the Spirit event the other night, because I haven't talked to you since I went to it and got to host that with Haya, who's outstanding.
Yes.
Boy, she is in her bag when she's like rallying up crowds. She's very, very good at it. Very, 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 very good at it.
Haya's great. We had a lot of meetings with her, so she's great. Yes.
We had a blast. Like, I don't know how many people were there, a few thousand maybe, but it was great turnout. Michelle Kang spoke. Players came out, all spoke to the crowd. It was awesome. It was a great turnout. It was a great event. I wished it was a championship event. Fan appreciation event is what it became, but it was a great event. I really appreciated that they asked me to. I know my voice is very hoarse from this past weekend. It was worse, believe it or not, a couple nights ago. So I'll get on the steroids. Don't worry. I'll be fine by the time we get around to Sunday. But it was a great event. Really fun time.
No, you can't help but feel, even though this team won a championship in 2021, it was with the old ownership and whatever, the team was going through at the time. They kind of won a championship in spite of some things going on behind the scenes. You can't help but feel this is like the very start of something new. And you know how this works in sports. Like, we both worked in it long enough. When you get that first run with a new group, it latches on to so many people. And that's the feeling I got with this season, with the way it played out, with the young rookie class, with Trinity Rodman going into the global superstar level that she is. This one really feels like it's the beginning of something really, really fun. And like you and I think had kind of come to the conclusion last week that no matter what happened, this season was just an absolute blast and was such a good time and was such a cornerstone of what they're about to be, that I think you saw the fan base react accordingly. Like, they keep flashing the stat of, in 2021, the quarterfinal only had like 5,000 people at Audi Field, where they had nearly 20,000 or over 20,000, these last two games. Like, the growth here is there. The fans are latching on. The fans are passionate about it. And that's what makes it really fun. When you're at the beginning of one of these runs and things are probably going to be good for a little bit here, that's when sports gets really, really fun following a team.
I am aware that the Wizards are 2-14.
Not very good. Not very good.
But they're psyched. This is what they said they wanted to do. So,
I can't be mad.
Congratulations. Happy Thanksgiving. Congratulations. You're 2-14.
I bitched about it for how many years, that the Wizards would middle and not just tank. They're tanking. I have nothing to say. This is fine. I'm okay with it.
Call me when you get to the other side.
I'm all right with this. Like, people want to be mad about 2-14. No, you should be mad if they were 7-7 right now. That's what you should be mad at. So I'm all right with this. Get a lottery pick, roll the dice again. We're cool. We're cool, Wizards. I don't want to talk to you, but we're cool right now.
Before we go to Thanksgiving, what do you got for Caps Lightning tonight?
Ooh, TNT primetime game. Look, they won in Florida on Monday. That was a big win. Defending champs on the road, no Ovechkin, defensively locked in. I feel like you used a little bit of the lightning in a bottle, no pun intended, on Monday for that one. I think they probably lose tonight, but here's the X factor. It's the mentors trip where all their dads are along. I don't know if you've seen any of the videos and stuff of that, but like, this trip usually helps with some of these nights. I don't think they win, but I don't think they're going to get blown out by any means either. They've been very solid defensively. So give me Lightning tonight, but a good effort by the Caps. Here's what I'll tell you on the other side is that Caps beat the Islanders on Friday on the Black Friday game. So if they lose tonight, they're still going to win on Friday for the afternoon game at 3:00.
I do like the visuals of Ovechkin kind of lurking around either at events or in suits. I really like, I don't know what it is about that visual, but he's like, I like it. I like that he's just kind of around and lurking. I like that.
He's a little Ivan Drago with the way he looks on the game. It's a little Rocky IV is what's going on there.
All right, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. I'll talk to you on Friday. Bram, watch the show. ESPN 630, the Sports Capital.